think about it, right? How often do you find yourself just scrolling through a streaming service, trying to figure out what to watch next? Online movies, they've become such a huge part of our lives, just, fundamental. So today we're doing a deep dive into the global online movies market. We're going to unpack what the data actually tells us about where things are now, and importantly, where they're headed over the next, 10 years or so.
Exactly. And the insights we're using, they come from this really detailed forecast by Cognitive Market Research. It covers 2021 all the way through to 2033. So our job, really, is to pull out the key takeaways, the big picture stuff, yeah. But also drill down into some pretty surprising regional numbers, even country-specific growth rates that, well, they really tell a story.
Okay, let's unpack this then. What are these numbers actually showing us about, how we watch things and what the future of digital entertainment looks like? Maybe let's start with the big global forecast, because it's pretty impressive. Back in 2021, the market was valued at, let's see, $37.662 billion. Okay, but get ready for this. By 2033, it's projected to soar to $151.518 billion.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 12.3%.
What's fascinating here is just the sheer scale, isn't it? The
Yeah.
expansion predicted globally, it's not just like small steps. We're talking about basically quadrupling the market size.
Yeah.
In just over a decade.
Quadrupling.
Yeah, and that 12.3% CAGR.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. That's an average growth rate every single year for 12 years. That's sustained power.
Yeah.
It really implies this irreversible shift in how people consume media, away from the old ways, towards digital. Driven by better internet everywhere, better tech, smartphones, and just the sheer convenience, right? On demand, anytime, anywhere.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's zoom in a bit. North America. Still a leader, I assume. Right, so North America, it's moving from about $15 billion in 2021 up to a projected $57.1 billion by 2033. The TGR there is 11.789%, still really strong. And inside North America, the U.S. is, it's a powerhouse. It started at $10.2 billion roughly back in 21, and it's expected to hit over $37 billion by 2033. That's an 11.345% CAGR. Solid.
Very solid. And you see Canada right there, too, showing really robust growth. Their CAGR is actually a bit higher, 12.297%, projected to reach, $14.45 billion. So, yeah, strong, consistent numbers for, pretty mature markets.
But here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Look at Mexico. It's got the standout CAGR predicted at 13.61%, reaching about $5.6 billion, a bit more by 2033. So when you compare those rates within North America, you see consistent growth, sure, but Mexico's really punching above its weight, accelerating things. Why do you think that is?
That is a great point, and it probably points to a few different things happening together. You likely have expanding internet access, more smartphones getting into more hands, reaching new groups of people, plus maybe younger population that's just grown up digital first, and maybe more affordable streaming options tailored locally. It's kind of a preview, I think, of the sort of explosive growth we're seeing or going to see in other developing markets.
Got it. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe. How's that landscape looking?
So Europe's total market growth, it's going from nearly $7 billion in 2021 up to over $26.3 billion by 2033. The CAGR there is 11.748%, pretty much neck and neck with North America overall.
Right. And Europe is, it's definitely diverse. You've got the big players like the UK, projected to hit over $5.1 billion by 2033. That's an 11.256% CAGR. Then Germany, around $4.27 billion, 11.241% CAGR. And France, about $3.6 billion, 11.155% CAGR. So strong, steady growth. Predictable, maybe, for these very established markets, more incremental shifts, perhaps. But then, like you said, diverse. You look at Spain, a 13.198% CAGR, or Denmark, 12.653%, higher than the big three there. And then, get this, the category labeled Rest of Europe shows a frankly remarkable CAGR of 14.802%.
Yeah.
That screams dynamic shifts happening outside those, traditional major economies. What do you think that surge signifies? The rest of Europe.
This raises an important question, doesn't it? What is driving that specifically? For the rest of Europe, it could be, several things. Rapidly improving internet, especially in Eastern and Southern Europe, maybe. Higher smartphone use catching up. A growing middle class with more money for entertainment.
Okay.
And maybe just less market saturation so new services can take off faster.
Less competition, perhaps.
It could be. And maybe local regional content really finding its audience, too. That could be a big factor.
Interesting. Okay, now, Asia Pacific. This seems to be where the real powerhouse growth is happening globally. The numbers are huge, expanding from just over $10.6 billion in 2021 to a projected $47.274 billion by 2033. And that's with the leading regional CAGR of 13.234%.
Absolutely. Asia Pacific is key. And within that, I mean, you have to talk about China. Its market size is just massive, and the growth is powerful too, going from about $4 billion to nearly $19.8 billion. That's a 13.966% CCAGR. Just enormous scale there, driven by a huge population and a very developed digital scene already.
But even with China's scale, if you're looking for the fastest growth, the market leader in terms of pure CAGR.
It's India, right? The numbers are extraordinary. A KGR of 15.189%. That's the highest single country rate in the whole report, starting from just over $1 billion in 21, but projected to hit nearly $6 billion by 2033.
So what does this all mean? I mean, what does India's explosive growth tell us about the future globally?
India is fascinating. It's like a prime example of what people call the digital leapfrog effect. You have millions of users basically skipping older media formats and jumping straight to mobile-first streaming. Their first real media experience might be online video. And it's fueled by incredibly cheap mobile data prices, right? A massive young population and, crucially, a booming local content industry, stuff made in India for India that really connects.
Yeah.
So it's not just more viewers, it's fundamentally changing how huge populations get their entertainment, and it's probably a model we'll see copied elsewhere.
Absolutely fascinating. And while, okay, China and India grab the headlines with that scale and speed, we shouldn't forget other big players there. Japan, projected to reach almost $7.9 billion. South Korea, over $5.4 billion. The whole region is just buzzing with digital transformation.
Definitely.
Okay, shifting focus again. Let's look at South America, the Middle East, and Africa. Their current market sizes might seem smaller compared to, say, North America or Asia Pacific, but the growth rates are really noteworthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Take South America. It's projected to grow from just over $2.1 billion in 2021 to nearly $9 billion by 2033. That's a solid 12.54% CGR overall for the region. And within that, you see countries like Colombia showing a particularly high CGR 14.246%. And Peru's is up there too, 13.729%. So clear signs of rapid adoption, expanding digital access.
And the Middle East. Similar story, looks like it, going from about $1.6 billion in 21 to over $7.1 billion by 33. That's a 12.912% CGR. And Saudi Arabia is a real standout there, growing at 13.629%. Significant growth.
And then Africa. Okay, starting from a smaller base, $1.2 billion in 2021, but is projected to reach nearly $4.7 billion by 2033. That's an 11.426% CAGR, with key markets like Nigeria and South Africa really driving a lot of the activity. Those strong double-digit TGRs, they point to huge future potential. They show this accelerating adoption as infrastructure improves and access spreads. They really are the next frontier for growth in this market.
Right. So let's try and bring this all together. The big picture, the overarching trend, it seems pretty unmistakable, right? This market, the online movies market, it's just experiencing really robust, consistent growth everywhere. We're literally looking at a market set to, quadruple in just over a decade.
Yeah, quadruple. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really highlights how different places contribute differently. You've got the established markets, North America, parts of Europe, still growing steadily, solid expansion. But then, boom, you have these emerging economies, especially in Asia Pacific, but also pockets in South America, the Middle East, showing absolutely explosive CAGRs.
Like India.
Exactly, like India. And this data, it's not just about money changing hands, right? It reflects fundamental shifts, better internet access globally, changing tastes, people just getting more comfortable with digital life, and it suggests a future where digital entertainment is just everywhere.
Universal. So thinking about all these numbers we've thrown out, when you look at them, what patterns really stand out to you? Do you see areas maybe poised for even bigger breakthroughs than these projections suggest? Or maybe potential slowdowns?
That's the key question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where's the next surprise? And as you, the listener, think about this huge expansion, consider this.
Yeah.
Beyond just the sheer growth in revenue, what unexpected things, innovations, maybe challenges do you think will really define this market by 2033? How might the content change?
Yeah.
Or even just the way we access it? Maybe driven by these emerging markets in ways we haven't even thought of yet.
It's definitely a dynamic industry, constantly changing. There's so much more to unpack another time. But for now, we really encourage you to keep thinking about these numbers and the broader implications of this massive shift in digital entertainment. think about your evenings. I mean,
Yeah.
how often do you find yourself settling in, maybe grabbing the remote, scrolling through just almost endless movies and TV shows? For so many of us, it's not just casual anymore, is it? It's like a daily ritual. It's how we unwind.
Absolutely. It's become central.
So today, our deep dive is all about that exact thing. The global online movies market, it's dynamic, it's changing constantly, and our mission really is to unpack what's driving its incredible growth, but also, the hurdles it's facing and what innovative trends are shaping what comes next.
It's a fascinating landscape.
Definitely. And all the insights, all the data we're digging into today, it comes straight from the experts at Cognitive Market Research. So if you're looking for a shortcut to really get your head around this space, maybe even see your own streaming habits a bit differently, well, you're in the right place. We've all felt that pull towards streaming, right? It's almost irresistible. But what are the foundational forces really driving this huge shift? It feels like 1 minute we were still renting DVDs or something, and the next, bam, everything's just there.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly things changed. It really boils down to several key elements sort of coming together perfectly.
Yeah.
At the heart of it, you've got this massive surge in digitalization and, crucially, widespread internet access, pretty much everywhere now.
Right, the basic infrastructure.
Exactly. And that paved the way for the explosion of online video streaming services.
Yeah.
Netflix, Amazon Prime, all the big players we know, they've completely reshaped entertainment.
And the convenience factor there is just huge.
Oh, absolutely huge.
You can instantly watch almost anything, blockbusters, indie stuff, those shows everyone talks about. And you can get it through a subscription, sometimes even free, no downloads needed.
It's pure on demand. And this fits perfectly with changing lifestyles, too. People want entertainment on their schedule. Plus, think about smartphones.
Everyone has one.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You basically carry a cinema in your pocket now. And then there's the tech side. Innovations like AI for recommendations are really critical.
Ah, the algorithm.
Yes, the algorithm. Cognitive market research highlights that these aren't just about suggesting the next thing to watch. They're getting so sophisticated they can spot microgenres or even predict unmet demand just by looking at subtle viewing patterns.
Wow. So they could actually shape what gets made in the future.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
It's quite powerful. And as we all embrace this incredible convenience and this hyper-personalization, demand just keeps climbing. It's a strong pull.
Okay. That convenience, that growth, it sounds almost unstoppable. But, even the fastest trains hit bumps. What does cognitive market research say are the biggest obstacles? The speed bumps for the online movie market? Maybe things that even threaten it long term?
That's a really important question. How does an industry balance that huge consumer demand for easy access with, staying profitable when facing serious challenges? The report points squarely at piracy as a major threat, a huge one.
Right.
We're talking illegal video content, easily found through torrents or those unauthorized streaming apps. Pikachu is mentioned as an example. They offer copyrighted stuff completely free.
So basically, they just cut the legs out from under the legitimate services. Threatens our whole business model.
Directly. And it's not just the platforms. Cognitive market research brings up the impact on creators, too.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. What's the ripple effect?
Well, the estimates are pretty staggering. They reckon piracy drains something like $20 billion a year from the industry.
20 billion, wow.
Yeah, put that into perspective. That's enough money to fund maybe 50 big blockbuster films. So this illegal activity fundamentally changes what actually gets produced. Smaller, maybe riskier projects, they might never get greenlit because of this.
That's a huge impact. And piracy isn't the only issue, right? You mentioned challenges? Plural.
Correct. There's also what the report calls pricing fatigue.
Ah, yes, the endless subscriptions.
Exactly. As more and more platforms launch, the cost of subscribing to all the ones you want, it really adds up. We've all done that calculation, haven't we? Do I really need another one? So that fatigue makes people hesitant to pay for all the content they want legally. And then you've got other things, like uneven content access because of regional licensing deals. What you can watch in one country, you can in another. It makes global distribution really complex.
And it sounds like there are deeper issues, too, behind the scenes for the companies themselves, not just what we see as users.
Indeed. The report digs into those structural challenges. Things like infrastructure problems in some emerging markets. The internet might be there, but maybe not fast or reliable enough for high-quality streaming.
Okay.
Then there are the costs. The sheer cost of licensing content from studios, or even more, producing their own original content. It's astronomical. a constant pressure.
The budgets for some of those shows are unbelievable.
They really are. And surprisingly, the report notes insufficient localization in many non-English speaking markets. Still, it seems like a massive missed opportunity for real global growth.
You'd think they'd be all over that.
You would. Add to that increased competition, so many services now, and content being fragmented everywhere.
Yeah.
It all leads to these really fundamental questions about, is this whole model sustainable in the long run? Can everyone actually be profitable?
Okay, so we have these huge growth drivers, but also these really significant hurdles. Given all that, where is this market actually heading? What are the big trends cognitive market research says we should be watching?
Well, if you connect the dots, the trends show a market that's incredibly responsive. Responsive to what consumers want: flexibility, personalization, but also, interestingly, to broader things happening in society, like environmental concerns.
Okay, so what does that look like in practice?
One major trend is the move towards hybrid monetization models. Services are mixing things up.
How so?
They're blending the standard subscription, pay a flat fee each month, with other options, like tiers with advertising or transactional services where you maybe rent or buy specific movies.
Like offering a cheaper plan with ads.
Exactly. The idea is to combat that pricing fatigue we talked about, give users more choice, but still find ways to bring in revenue.
That makes sense. Give people options. I know I've definitely considered ad-supported plans sometimes.
Many people are.
Yeah.
Then there's that AI-driven hyper-personalization we touched on. It's going even deeper than just, you watch this, you might like that.
Deeper how?
Platforms are starting to tailor not just content recommendations, but maybe even pricing bundles or special offers based on your specific viewing habits and history. Trying to make the whole experience feel uniquely yours, almost predicting what you want.
Okay. Bit creepy, maybe, but potentially useful.
It's a fine line. Another really powerful trend is deep localization. Not just dubbing or subtitling anymore, but serious investment in producing original content within specific regions, tailored for those local audiences. That's seen as key to capturing new global markets.
And what about how we actually watch? Is it still just pressing play?
Not necessarily. We're seeing more interactive experiences emerge, things like those choose-your-own-adventure style movies.
Oh yeah, I've seen a couple of those.
Right. Or features like synchronized viewing parties, where you can watch with friends who are somewhere else and chat in real time. It makes viewing more active, more social.
Interesting. So it's not just passive consumption.
Exactly. And then on that broader societal level, there's growing environmental consciousness. Providers are actually starting to focus on making streaming more efficient, improving quality while using less data, making their data centers greener. Reducing that carbon footprint is becoming part of the conversation.
Right, because streaming does use a lot of energy when you add it all up globally.
It does. It's significant.
And, of course, we can't really talk about recent shifts without mentioning the huge elephant in the room, the COVID-19 pandemic. How did that period impact all these transformations? Did it speed things up?
Oh, dramatically. The pandemic didn't just nudge the market forward. It fundamentally recalibrated everything. It created a new normal for how we consume content.
Yeah.
And we're still living in that reality. Think about traditional cinemas. They suffered hugely, didn't they? Lockdowns, social distancing, people just being wary, footfall plummeted. It was devastating for many.
Yeah, it was brutal for cinemas. Meanwhile, streaming platforms, they became essential for so many of us stuck at home, right? I remember desperately searching for new things to watch every night.
Precisely. They saw this unbelievable surge in demand. For millions, streaming became the primary source of entertainment, almost overnight.
So the platforms capitalized on that.
They certainly did. They rolled out new releases straight to streaming, offered discount packages, improved multilingual options, anything to grab and keep hold of that massive captive audience.
Makes sense.
And cognitive market research confirms this wasn't just a temporary blip. Those shifts driven by the pandemic, they've led to a permanent change in our behavior. They really cemented the dominance of online movie platforms in everyday life.
Wow. So, quite a journey we've taken then. We started with those powerful forces driving the market: digitalization, convenience, the surprising role of AI.
And the way our own habits have changed.
Right. Then we confronted the big challenges, piracy being a massive one, that subscription fatigue.
Cost, the structural issues.
Yeah. Then we looked ahead at the trends: hybrid models, hyper-personalization, localization, even environmental awareness shaping the future.
And those interactive elements making it more engaging.
Exactly. And finally, acknowledging the huge lasting impact of the pandemic, it really shaped the landscape permanently. So Hopefully, this deep dive, which has been grounded in all that great insight from cognitive market research, gives you a really solid handle on this complex, fast-moving market. And thinking about how central streaming is to our lives now, this constant push and pull between wanting convenience, managing costs, and getting the variety of content we want. Here's something to mull over. What do you think is the single most important factor that will decide which streaming services really thrive, or maybe which ones don't survive over the next 5 years?